What does the American public do when General Motors, the biggest car maker in the world at one time, is on the verge of death? Today I've got Leo the Suit back on the program, and he's going to explain to us the ins and outs of the GM Death Watch and what we can do to help them, as well as what we can expect if they fail. I'm Matt Farah, you're watching Garage419.
This episode of Garage419 is brought to you by Valvoline's automotive series Under the Hood with Brandon and the Frog. Watch for new episodes at brandonandthefrog.com.
Leo Parente, the Suit. Tell me, well, we know for a fact that GM has sort of started this plan for surviving after declaring that they would be bankrupt very, very soon. And I laughed at this plan. Explain to me what GM's plan is for survival here.
There is no plan. The plan has reduced itself to corporate begging.
So it's the homeless guy on the street plan.
I mean, let's be serious. The only option right now for GM is government support.
Right.
They need cash. Starting with last Friday's Mr. Wagner Wall Street press conference, it started a whole flow of corporate begging.
Right. Now let's step back for a second. This press conference last Friday, he basically went in and said they've been burning money at the rate of $2 billion a month. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't want to be the one calling them out, but you know, ever since they announced their $15 billion cost reduction plan almost a year ago, they've been telling the world that they burn $1 billion a month.
But they really burned $2 billion a month.
2.3. They did 6.9 in 3 months.
That's so much money.
You know, if this is how they hit objectives, or miss there's a joke in there somewhere. The point is, it wasn't $1 billion, it's double that.
So, okay, so they're essentially out of money. They've got about $15 billion in the bank, but once they hit that $10 billion mark, that's end of game for them, right?
Well, I maintain that Mr. Wagner was telling the story in the worst case possible to scare the government into doing something. He literally acknowledged that by July, GM could have to shut the doors.
Okay.
Now they're talking about a letter writing campaign. They've had all the employees, they contacted all the employees and encouraged them to not only write letters, but to contact their friends and business associates to write the government to save GM.
Such a bad idea. But this is official. This is not like some insider thing that you know. This is official. I've seen this letter. It made it to the blogs, okay? These guys, GM's top-tier staff sent this letter down to all the employees, asking all the employees to ask their friends to contact their government representatives, et cetera, whoever they know, to beg the government to give GM this loan.
Now, you can only hope that this is supporting the lobbying, not that the lobbying has already failed. But then again, remember, GM was trying to get money to merge Chrysler, and their big selling pitch was, you'll be doing this to save the auto industry, as they openly acknowledged that they would close big pieces of Chrysler, let people go, lose their jobs. So they were asking the government for more money to let people go.
Well, but they've already gotten some money. They've gotten some money to help their fuel-efficient cars program, right?
The reality is no money has changed hands yet, to my understanding. $25 billion has been earmarked for helping build more fuel-efficient vehicles. Another 25 is in the pipeline. But none of that money, to my understanding, has gotten to the manufacturers yet. GM is kind of like ringing the alarm saying we need it now. And Mr. Paulson yesterday announced that the money's not going to come from the $700 billion. So somewhere, someone's going to have to do something.
Well, we've heard that Barack Obama has made it one of the top priorities to save the American auto industry. Except the problem is, GM may not last until then.
GM is, for right or wrong, GM is saying they are in a position where we cannot wait and action needs to be taken.
Right. So there are some people saying that, you know what, this is capitalism, this is America. You know, people like, I heard Ted Turner on TV saying that he survived times like, and he raised money on his own. There are all these companies saying, you know, everyone else has to raise money on their own. Why should GM get government money? But on the other hand, you know, GM going out of business would cause catastrophic nationwide damage that goes beyond just GM, right?
Look, all you need to do is read the business section of any newspaper and you understand that this is bigger than just one or two companies making bad business decisions. The unfortunate reality is this is a economic scenario for the U.S. economy. It's a global issue. So at some point in time, while we'd love to criticize GM for building big SUVs to the 11th hour, it's big enough, and the automobile industry is an infrastructure of this country.
Yeah.
You cannot let this fail right now.
Well, you've got parts suppliers, you've got transportation companies, you've got, shipping companies, car dealerships. And not to mention towns where factories are, where other people have restaurants and stores based on fact that people live. I mean, it goes out and out and out and out and out, and could potentially affect several million people if this company goes down. So is saving all of those people's jobs enough reason for the government to give GM the money they need to survive?
Well, the problem is the immediacy of it all. That's the issue. I think we could go through that list and recognize that the auto industry will fill in the blanks. If we've gone from 16 million down to 10 million annual cars and trucks.
Yeah.
It'll come back eventually, and someone will fill in the blanks. You'll buy more Toyotas, you'll buy more Hyundais.
That's what's happening right now.
But they're all down. But right now, the issue is no one's in a position to do that. No one wants to step in. No one can step in. You have to protect the infrastructure of our country.
When we come back on Garage419, we're going to talk about whether it's the cars or the finances that is keeping these companies down, what to expect in the future, and what's going to happen with NASCAR. Stick around.
Auto do-it-yourselfers have amazing bartering potential.
Well, not until you fix my car like you said.
You get a free pizza in exchange for some easy car work. One reason that a car might run hot is because of bad or low coolant. We're gonna play it safe and replace the fluid. Best free thing there is, man.
No one's perfect. Not even me, although I am that close. But sometimes I need my go-to guys for stuff. For instance, if I want an apple or a banana, come to this fruit stand right here. If I need emotional support, I got this guy right here on 29th and Park, who apparently used to be some kind of, psychologist or something. If my car starts smelling funny, first thing I do is I watch Under the Hood with Brandon and the Frog at brandonthefrog.com, and then I take my car to my local ASE certified mechanic who can usually tell me what's wrong with it. And he doesn't start rambling about fish and other weird stuff. This guy creeps me out. I don't know. We're back on Garage419. Leo the Suits. Leo, here's a question for you. And it goes back and forth. We each have our opinions on this. Some people think the American car companies, especially GM, which is what we're talking about today, their problem is with their finances, how they handle it, all the way from the dealer level up to the top corporate level. Other people say the problem is a lack of really good product that people want to buy. I think their overall problem is that they don't have as many competitive products as they like to tell us they do.
I'm going to take what you said and hopefully be on the same page, but look at it this way. Is it the car or is it the deal? I mean, there's emotion in buying a car, but every advertisement you see is screaming sales event.
Yeah, employee pricing and yada yada.
Price to price.
Yeah.
If you commoditize this and turn it into just the deal, then you get in a situation where you're only going to get the buyers that need to buy a car.
Right.
I mentioned earlier we've gone from 16 million to 10 million. Does that literally mean that there were 6 million people buying a car on emotion? And you're not.
No, I think what happened. I think in terms of prices, I think on every level of the car market, the American cars, at least in America, undercut the foreign cars' pricing, and that's always been their goal. We'll give you the same product for less money. Except I don't think it's the same product. I think if you look on a piece of paper, it's the same product, but I think if you sit in the car, feel the car, drive the car, and evaluate what the car makes you feel like when you're behind the wheel, I think their products are inferior, and that's why people don't want to buy them, regardless of the price.
Look, without besmirching demographics, if you need to get financed and that's the only way you can get in a car, then you're going to compromise your selection. But for a majority of people, and maybe even including those people, at some point in time, there is an emotional connection with the car. You want to like it, you want to enjoy it, and you want it to represent what you are. If you don't pay attention to that, or you don't deliver on that, then people will go elsewhere. Japanese, Korean, the Chinese are coming. Yeah, unfortunately, I have to agree that up to this point, there have not been enough American cars that have attracted everyone's attention. Not picking on GM again, but here we go.
I mean,
they used to have 50% share.
Let's talk about Chrysler for once. Chrysler does not have, except for the Viper, okay, and I wouldn't even buy one of those, but I know there are people that the Viper is the only car Chrysler's got right now that's sold out.
Well, you know
okay?
what's scary about what you've said, and you've said that before, you never even think of Challenger.
No, I don't think of the Challenger.
But I don't like it either.
The Challenger doesn't do anything for me. It looks cool, and as a cruising car, it's cool.
And look what Jeep. Look what they've done with Jeep. They've taken the essence of that and turned it into God knows what. You've got
the
Compass,
Patriot and the
Liberty.
God.
You know, Jeep Rendition. That's what they should do.
It's that brand. The problem with that brand is they've got nothing anyone wants now. They've got excuse me, nothing that anyone wants in the pipeline either, and no money. So it's like, and people, no one knows what their finances are because they're a private company. So everyone's going to be afraid to buy their product because warranties may not get honored, cars might not be able to get serviced. I mean, who even knows?
Look, it took me a long time to figure it out, but everyone makes a purchase decision on emotional and logic. And if there's no emotion attached to the car, you're not going to buy the car, or you're going to buy something else.
Yeah.
It is a problem.
So, I mean, despite all the amazing deals that are out there right now in American cars and trucks, people still aren't buying them, which leads me to believe that it really is a product issue.
And there was a politician who was talking about a tax discount. Rebates aren't working. The deal's not working.
Stop giving money back. Just make a better car and we'll buy it, okay? So, there's a lot of information to process at once, but, what do we do now? I mean, should the American taxpayers be paying to fix GM and paying to fix the other companies? I mean, where does this go in the future?
If we're making an investment on these companies, then like any investment, you have expectations and you want something back. I hope that they're not going to just fork over the cash and figure that's the end of the game. There should be performance demands. There should be something that holds the companies accountable, AIG included, not just the auto industry companies.
Yeah. This is going to have to be, like the Britney Spears rehab of loans, where it's like, okay, we'll help you out, but you get rid of all your friends, you get rid of your top management, I'm listening on your cell phone calls, and Big Brother has better be there every single step of the way, to make sure these guys don't immediately, once they've got $50 billion in the bank, go into a $2 billion a month burn rate again, and just go through that money, and then we're really done.
I know there's been a lot written about who should run it, from an editorial talking about Steve Jobs and whatever. And I know the government. I know, and I know the government's talking about creating a car czar. But the bottom line is, somewhere along the line, just doing the same old thing is not going to work. So whoever has the capacity to be brave, to be bold, and realize it's not business as usual is the only thing.
It should be like, what's that Michael Keaton movie from the 80s where they bring the Japanese guys over to run the company? What was that? I don't remember what it's called. Someone
Gung-Ho.
Gung-Ho, yeah. They should bring all the Japanese guys over to run our companies, and we'll figure out how to build cars and make money.
Scary part is I used to work for Toyota. You don't know how much of that movie was true.
I believe every bit of it. Time for our question of the day, and this is a weird sidebar here. The big three, quickly becoming the little three, are basically the glue that holds NASCAR together. Toyota's hanging in there, but between engines, racing teams, sponsorship money, I mean, my question of the day is, what happens to NASCAR if GM, Ford, and Chrysler go away?
First of all, the first hint is that DEI and Ganassi just announced they're merging. The two pretty much biggest NASCAR teams don't have enough to continue on their own, so they're going to merge together. And the word on the street, despite Ford's pledge to continue in NASCAR, is that the money is going to stop. GM, Dodge, it's not going to be the way it is. Now, in the 60s, again, I'm old enough to remember this, there was a consolidation, the teams ran with what they had, and it became more of a private enterprise.
But that's pre-TV NASCAR. NASCAR is the most watched sport in the country now. I mean, if that sport collapses, who even knows what's going to happen? In
auto racing, you live and die by the manufacturer associations. NASCAR is entertainment driven. They've become more and more irrelevant. Their big green play is they've got unleaded fuel.
Unleaded fuel and spoilers.
Hey, and we discovered wings last year.
The car of the future, yay.
So I think there is going to be a huge change. I wonder what everyone else thinks.
We want to know what you guys think. Leave a comment, or if you're not here already, go to Garage419.com. Leave a comment in the box. Let us know what is going to happen with NASCAR if the big three fold. Leo the Suit, thanks a lot. Good to have you here. I'm Matt Farah. You've been watching Garage419. I'm out of here.
This week on WePCTV, we talked to Justin Nuet, founder of Muxtape, about how personal computers are changing the music business.
Is it possible to start a business like Muxtape with just a PC and motivation?
I think it definitely is. I think if you have an idea, the internet is out there, you can manipulate it. It's very egalitarian. There's really no excuse.
WePCTV is brought to you by ASUS and Intel. You dream it, ASUS builds it, Intel inside it.